Okay, now I'm finished with mostly all the paint remover. Now, when you're doing this, refinishing wood, you can also use paint remover and lacquer thinners. But this is elbow grease. This is using plain sandpaper and sander in your hands. Now, what we're about to do is what's called staining the wood. There's a difference between staining and painting. Painting is what we just took off. All this white stuff. I haven't even got all of it out yet. But eventually I will. But that can be done in the finish part of the finishing. That's what we're doing. We're refinishing something. Re means to do it again, of course. So with stain, like this says right here, stain, right? There's a difference. Even though you're doing the same process of like if you were painting, but painting, what it does, it changes the color of the wood. Now staining does the same thing, but see this wood grain? What happens, you still see the wood grain. That's the difference between painting and staining. When you paint, it covers up the wood grain. But when you stain, you do the same thing as if you was doing with paint. You go with the grain of the wood. You see the grain of wood going this way, right? So you always go this way. You don't go against the grain. Even when you're sanding, you don't go against the grain. So what we're doing right here is we're staining the wood. And once you get it all stained, and you let it set for a while. See, with paint, you just paint it and then you just walk off and let it dry. Or you put it under heat lamps, you know, especially if you got enamel paint. Or lights of like 1,000 watts, same thing as a heat lamp. It just generates more heat than your regular 75 or 60 watt bulb. Or 100 watt. So you just put it under, you know, like when they paint the car, right? You put it under put it in the oven to bake on the enamel, so it comes to a smooth finish. Now, what I'm doing right here, like I said, is staining. And after you place the stain on, put it on evenly and let it sit there for a while, usually about a minute or two. But since I don't have that much room on this tape here, I'm going to show you what you do. After you have brushed that on, then you take a rag like this, just a regular rag, and you rub it in. Now you can do the same thing with paint. That's what they call whitewashing or stone washing, right? You don't let the paint stay on there and let it dry. See? See how the wood grain just came right back? Now if I left it on with a complete dark on there, that would be, if I just leave it like this here and don't do it, that's painting. But staining is when you are actually coloring the wood, like I said. But what you're really doing is just dyeing the wood. You're not getting rid of the wood grain. You spread the paint over, even the stains, sorry, evenly, just like that. And once you have it where you want it, how do you want it? However you need me, however you want it, however you need me. back to life, back to reality, back to the here and now. Here we are, so don't let this moment go. However you want it, however you need me, however you want it, however you need me. See there? See how that wood grain came right back in there? Bring it back to life. Okay, well that's it. This is part 4. Eugene Hawkins Wood World. Check out my website,